Courtney. Hey, look, there are some people out there who love Courtney. There are some people out there who dislike Courtney. While me personally, for me, it's actually in the middle. I actually love Courtney so much. At the same time, I really can't stand her. Like, I really dislike her. But at the same time, I actually love her. And I actually find her very entertaining. Aww. In fact, if you didn't know, she's actually my favorite total drama character in the show. Here, let me explain. Sure, Courtney does have her flaws. Like, for example, sometimes, in fact, I mean all the time, she can become overly competitive, very bossy, which leads to her being controlling. But I love that she has leadership skills, even though her leadership skills are very, bossy and narcissistic. Although I love how she's like two-faced and how she has two split personalities. Like, for example, sometimes she could be a very nice girl, especially during season 1 of Island, mainly that season and the beginning of World Tour, and how sometimes she can be a very bratty, bossy, competitive, but a bit less meaner version of Heather. Just a selfish, bratty version of Heather. Yeah, there we go. That's the right way to phrase it. Now, let's talk about Courtney and how she was throughout the seasons.
And here comes Courtney!
Thank you. Hi, you must be the other contestants. It's really nice to meet you all.
Now, Courtney's introduction said a few things about her. That she's very polite, very welcoming, and that she has manners, and that she... I wouldn't call her character kind, but in the beginning, she had humble, kind beginnings. As I said earlier in this video, I mentioned how Courtney can be very kind sometimes. Yes, she is stubborn. She was also humble season 1, and she was known to be very uptight, bossy, leader, and nice to other contestants. For example, she had a heart-to-heart with Sadie for one moment.
Gopher! Sadie, is it? Come on, it'll be okay. This is so unfair!
Aw, sweet, right? We even have a moment where she comforts Duncan for his fear of the Selena statue. I forgot what her full name is called. She basically holds his hand and tells him that it's okay, and if he's too scared, he doesn't have to do the challenge, which is also really soft-spoken and nice. We even got her friendship with Bridget, who she was also kind to. And I gotta say, oh my gosh, credit to whoever made this, because I love this so much. But though, like I said earlier, Courtney does have some flaws, so we're gonna analyze the bad and the good of Courtney. So, however, Courtney isn't perfect. She does have her flaws, just like every character. For example, in season 1, you know how she was comforting Duncan for his fear? However, which is nice and all, but however, when Tyler was scared of chickens, she said this.
What's your chicken?
Duncan,
I'm not sure we're
not
getting
helping.
Anywhere on this one.
Tyler, this is the last challenge! Quit being such a girl! You have to do this or we're going to lose!
Maybe you're probably thinking, hey, that's just part of her character. She's just bossy and uptight. And maybe she was just comforting Duncan because, he looked the most terrified. Yeah, true, you're probably thinking that. But Tyler looked just as terrified, or even more terrified in chickens as Duncan. And besides, come on, it's a standee Duncan's scared of. A standee. Tyler's scared of chickens. Heck, my mom is scared of birds. And some people are really petrified of birds, actually, in real life. And Courtney didn't give a heck. She just stick the middle finger in Tyler's face and said, hey, do it, or else we're gonna lose, and I don't care how scared you are. Yeah, she did not care. She just wanted her team to win, but when Duncan does it, she cares because she had a huge crush on him or whatever. And I'm saying this because notice how she didn't comfort any of the other contestants when they were scared? Yeah. And not only... Okay, but you're probably like, but Ruby, that was one time. Actually, she did it again with DJ. Yes, DJ. I'll show you a clip.
Yeah, but it's slimy and scaly. Slithery.
We need this point, DJ!
Suck it up! Courtney, are you serious right now? I mean, what?
How could you say that to DJ?
Now do you see what I mean? So Courtney was very aggressive towards DJ, which was wrong. And she was very mean about it towards Tyler. But I'm saying that she was comforting Duncan because she liked the bad boy. This wasn't the first time Courtney violated DJ, but we'll get back to that later. And DJ is one of the nicest characters in the show, besides the fact that he bullied Hero, which is very mean and very unfriendly. But at least DJ didn't do it constantly like Jeff and Duncan did. But still, DJ is very nice overall and very friendly. And the fact that Courtney just aggressively raised her voice at him says a lot. Heck, she could be a mean coach. And yes, I do adore Courtney and Bridget's friendship, but my best friend Voynila the YouTuber pointed something out about their friendship that when I mentioned it to them, they were like, bro, at first Courtney was like, oh, you killed my violin. And she was, yeah, sure, she did say that. And I think I'm gonna rewatch the clip again to see how pissed off Courtney was on a scale of 1 to 10. Because that was literally before Courtney and Bridge started becoming best friends. And Courtney did seem pissed off from what I remember. Like, very pissed off. And taking your anger out on others isn't exactly a leadership skill, Courtney.
Oh no! You killed my violin! I didn't mean to. There must be something we can do.
Yes, Courtney did blame Bridget for that. But Bridget really didn't mean to. It was an accident. She could have been a lot more nicer about it. And at least Bridget tried to fix it. Bridget wasn't a huge jerk and said, oh, well, you can fix it yourself, or something like that. At least Bridget tried to be a nice person and fix it. And Courtney didn't give Bridget sympathy, it seemed like. She looked very pissed off and she was mad at her over breaking the violin. But it was an accident. Sure, Courtney wasn't mean to her or overly aggressive towards her. She was just upset at the moment. And of course she did cry because that was probably her violin since she was 6. Is what I'm headcanoning for my series. But still, I feel like Courtney just overreacted. Like, she cried over violin. But that's how Courtney is. She's always whining and crying about something. And she progresses to be more that way throughout the seasons. But we'll get to that later too. Tonight's introduction is exploring her type character her character being bossy and aggressive. Not too aggressive. And from her character exploring dynamics with Bridget, her best friend, well, ex-best friend since they don't want to talk anymore since after Island, and then with her crush / love interest, Duncan. Also, one more thing I'd like to point out is that I know Courtney didn't expect this to happen, because she didn't think the producers picked on or fair. She didn't expect the whole challenge to happen. But the fact that she bossed everyone around and told them to complete the challenge by going near their worst fears, except for Duncan, and by her chickening out and not doing hers, it's just hypocritical.
That's it, keep climbing!
She's just trying to psych you out!
Like you said, Courtney, it's okay if you can't do it.
It is? But we'll lose. Oh, I can't do it. I'm coming down. Woo! All right!
Then there you have it.
Anyways, at first Courtney acts like a tsundere towards Duncan, and at first she really didn't want to be in a relationship with him. But of course, back then it was seen as playing hard to get, but nowadays it would just seem like rejection, as Courtney was playing it as rejection. But of course, the creators wanted her to seem like she was playing hard to get because the series was written back in 2007. But the thing is, she treated Duncan like trash in the beginning because Duncan wouldn't take a hint and get the hint that maybe Courtney didn't want to be in a relationship. That maybe he should get to know her more just instead of flirting with her for her looks. But no, Duncan doesn't care. He's a bad boy. And the thing is, Courtney is such a hypocrite because she did say that she sells and saying bad things about people, and I feel like she can also be fake too, while she also portrays by having a nice side at Island. It's hard to believe that she can have a nice side and be so fake and two-faced, because the thing is, she actually says bad stuff about Duncan in a confessional during season 1, 2, and 2, while she takes a liking towards him in both seasons. during season 1, she acts like she's considerate towards him at first. And then she completely just, I don't know, like, talks trash about him in the confessional. And then she does it again in season 2. But in season 1, she also said she sells at saying bad things about people. I'll play the clips in this video.
Were unconscious at the time of the alleged cuddling with said Neanderthal. So essentially, it's owning sunglasses doesn't automatically make you cool. If you're gonna wear sunglasses, at least get some stylish ones. People like that are so annoying. I mean, honestly, who does that? And don't even get me started on his hair.
See, that's what I mean. He's fake. Oh, here's another clip.
Oh, I just mixed up the two speeches. Can we start over? What do you mean, no?
I mean, I've got to get to gym class.
You promised you'd take my audition for Total Drama Island, Tom! Look, just give me the camera. Give it to me! Oh, you are so not going to be my secretary if I win. Say anything bad about her. And I excel at saying bad things about people.
Another thing, shout out to my best friend Voidnilla, the YouTuber. Voidnilla, the YouTuber, my best friend, aka my best friend, pointing out that Courtney can be very fake. Like, and they had a theory that during Courtney's beginning of Island, when she was being nice to Sadie all that time, what if she's actually faking it? Because they said that people in real life are good at being fake too. So what if Courtney's actually just faking the whole nice act and putting on the act? That's what their theory was. Well, I happen to think that Courtney would just like being regular, but however, I do believe that Courtney is two-faced too. And besides, literally after she's being nice to Sadie, well, comforting her, that is, at least, she was like in competition mode in that one episode. She was like, oh no, Sadie has got to go now. When I say someone's going down, they go down. And when Sadie cried, she didn't even care. But then again, no one cared. So of course Courtney didn't care. She wanted Sadie out and gone. Out and gone. But still, knowing how miserable Sadie probably was, why would Courtney do that to her? Just shows that Courtney isn't a good person. Oh, and things were going well when I was 12 years old and I first watched the show for the first time ever. Things were going well for me. I thought that Courtney was gonna make it to merge. Things were in, and things were good, and Courtney is still in the game until
The event.
And yes, the event is the odd one out, of course, because it destroyed the other three.
Which is all Duncan's fault, by the way. Yes, I'm blaming Duncan, not Harold, because Duncan was the one who teamed up with Jeff and DJ to bully Harold and to harass him, instead of maturingly correcting Harold or handling the situation like an adult. He decides to harass and bully Harold, which is interesting for a cartoon and all. But Duncan was really in the wrong here. Like, come on. He's seriously bullying Harold with his own underwear? That's just so immature and gross. If anything, Courtney should be calling him gross, not Harold. Even though Harold did pick his nose, but still. Yes, when Harold picked his nose, it was very gross, but still, bullying is wrong. And just because Harold did that doesn't give Duncan the right to bully him. And that's karma, just what Duncan deserves, because who does he think he is picking on poor Harold? That is what Duncan gets for bullying Harold. And if anything, the reason why I showed the clip, oh yeah, I'm gonna show another clip of Courtney. I believe that Courtney defends this action. I mean, not his bullying actions, but the actions of Duncan being mean to Harold, because she's mad that Harold rigged the votes, and that's why she supports his actions, because Courtney never ever corrects Duncan for bullying him, and she's very manipulative. She shows this in one clip of season 1 too. But we all know she's manipulative, Ruby. I know that, but she shows it in season 1 when she threatens Harold to vote for Duncan. And Ruby or Rainbow, Courtney was very angry. She got kicked off unfairly. Yes, she did get kicked off unfairly. And Harold could have got Duncan kicked off instead of Courtney, because Courtney didn't bully Harold. But Courtney had no right to threaten Harold that way. And it was really mean of her to hit Harold with that pole. Sure, if I was kicked off unfairly, I would be extremely angry at the person who unfairly voted me off. But I wouldn't do that. That would be mean.
I can't decide between Lashana and Gwen. They're both really cool.
Lashana, definitely.
But you'd vote for Duncan, right?
Why would I do that?
Because if you don't, I'm going to post all of your little love letters to Lashana on the internet.
Fine, whatever. I'll vote for Duncan. No.
So Courtney showed this side of her more as, oh yeah, I almost totally forgot to talk about basic training. So in basic training, long story short, Duncan decided Courtney was acting all uptight and bossy. So Duncan decided that she was no fun, to show her how to have fun, loosen up, and which I think could have been a nice dynamic. But them as friends, it could have been good if they were friends and Duncan was like this laid back guy, which he is, showing Courtney how to like loosen up and have fun. It could have been good if they were friends doing it. Duncan gets Courtney to do a bad girl deed, and Courtney comes up, well, I want to say bad girl, but she does something just as rebellious as Duncan would do. She steals food from Chef, and she loosens up, has fun, has a good time. I liked the side as Courtney at first. Genuinely, I did. But she literally kissed Duncan after she grew up. Gross. And then basically, Courtney doesn't turn the switch off. She stays this way up until the Total Drama Island special. You know what? She stays this way in action too. And in Total Drama Island special, she actually ends up playing the game in a meaner way. Not competitive. Well, yes, competitive. But not just in a competitive way, not just in an aggressive way, not just in a tight, bossy leadership way, but in a meaner way. She's extra bossy, extra pushy, extra aggressive, and not to mention extra mean. And I find it interesting that people blame Duncan for how Courtney turned out. Yes, it was partly Duncan's fault. He did encourage her to do that. But hey, he didn't tell her to leave the switch on for like the whole entire forever, right? He never did that. He just encouraged her to kind of loosen up a bit, and he just wanted her to have fun. He didn't want her to do extra and be this mean, cruel person with a cold shoulder. No, that wasn't Duncan's intention. Sure, it was his fault because he got Courtney to break the rules. It was partly his fault, and which was very wrong of the two. Ron and Duncan encouraged her to be bad, but he thinks that being bad is fun, as he said so in All Stars. And then Courtney, it was her fault for not turning the switch off. It was completely her fault. Mainly her fault, because she's the one who did this behavior towards Duncan, mainly towards him, towards Lindsay in action, towards all the other characters, and towards all the other characters too. But I'll get into that in part 2. Duncan didn't tell her to act controlling by outlisting all his flaws. He didn't tell her to be mean to Lindsay.
You're gonna have to help me.
Oh, you know you mean the world to me, but I can't let you hold me back. Sorry!
Wait! You're leaving me here? But I just wrestled an alligator for us!
I know! But
She betrayed him for a suitcase, for the money, which is not love. Choosing money over love is not love, or it's not, like, that's not cute. Obviously, Courtney is selfish, and Duncan is selfish too, and I see why people should dunk me, because they're both selfish, and they're opposites. And Duncan made the bad girl come out of her. But come on, man. I mean, that was very immature and low down and selfish of Courtney. Duncan has a heart, okay? At least a bigger one than Courtney. And Courtney left him for his case, which is not loyalty to Duncan Sanders. And it was just very rude and mean. I know Duncan can be very mean at times, especially during season 1. But what Courtney did was just downright selfish. He left her for a suitcase when his leg was hurt. Duncan, he's selfish, but he has committed selfless acts at times, like giving DJ new bunny. And Duncan, at least I think he would have showed some concern, and he has a heart. He can be very kind at times. And the fact that he delivered that suitcase to her by reeling it in, by rustling the alligator, shows his loyalty, at least before World Tour. And like, she just mistreated him right there. That was just wrong. Come on, he was in pain. I know the show isn't meant to be taken seriously, but still, that was just wrong. My OC Jocelyn would never. At least she didn't threaten contestants to fall to their death while she hosts the case, right?
Longer! Courtney, save us! Pull us up!
give me the case and I will!
No way!
Okay then.
You wouldn't let us fall to our deaths?
Oh, yes I would! I don't even like you very much!
Wow. Wow. Hopefully her character changes and evolves and gets character development. And hopefully she wakes up, opens her eyes, and realizes the bad girl personality is no good for her. Or will she? Stay tuned for part 2 of Total Drama Action Courtney analysis.